Welcome to Investing with Jimmy. Today's topic will be SoFi Technologies. Now, SoFi is a stock on my list to purchase. I have not purchased this stock yet. I will be buying this stock. This is the new technology of banking. I like the opportunity that this particular company has. And let's go ahead and take a look at their situation and see why we want to invest in it. Now, a lot of you guys out there as well, you really, most of us in most cases are looking for day trading. A lot of us want to be able to make a living investing in the stock market. But if you look at the way that the world is right now, it's on shaky ground where everything goes up and down. Everything seems to be a Ponzi scheme where most of the stock market has been losing. It's a lot of money have been removed from the market. I'll do a separate video on what my thoughts are on how government is controlling the money and manipulating everything. So I will make a video on that. But today, let's focus on SoFi and let's focus on how we can make a quick buck with this stock. You can hold long. There's nothing wrong with holding long with this type of stock. So let's start it off with the 1 year. On a 1 year, this stock, if you would have bought this stock, let's say for $10,000 investment 1 year ago, you would have $15,000 into your account. It would have made you $5,000 in 1 year. Now, when I see the returns on an annual basis or over a period of 5 years, I'm not really interested in that right now. I'm looking more to how to make 10% quickly. That's what I'm interested in. How do I make 10% quick, like in a day? Forget the 50% for waiting a whole year. I want 10% in like a day or two. That's much quicker. I can make, what I'm teaching you guys is how to make the 50% in and out, in and out, in and out over maybe a course of 3 months where you make 50% of your money. Could be a month. So let's get into how we would go about doing that. All right, so now, of course, we're picking stocks that we feel safe with. We don't want to do a stock where we try to go in on something and the company is junk and it's going to go down. What do? If we get stuck with the stock and it goes down instead of up, you better hope that you're in a stock that's going to rebound and eventually go up more than what you paid. That's a stock like this. So on a 1 year, if you look at the chart, we're at this 1081. We are at a perfect buying opportunity right there based on the 1 year because we're not anywhere near the highs and we're more near the bottoms. As you can see, these are all COVID right here. This is all COVID era. Well, actually, you know what? I take that back. It's not. This actually happened in 2024. It was very, very low. $7 and something cents here, okay? But we're close to the bottoms, which is a nice thing on a growth type of stock. So let's take a look at a 5 year. If you look at a 5 year, okay, we're right smack in the middle. We're more towards the bottoms than we are towards the tops. In 5 years, this stock has lost 14%, which is no big deal. The 1 year, it's won 50%. So it's starting to catch on. It's paid its dues. Let's take a look at a 6 month. In 6 months, it's been 7%. So this is my perfect example of what I'm going to teach you. Do you really want to put your money into this stock, hold it for 6 months, and make 7%? I don't. I don't know about you, but I don't. I'm interested in making 7 to 10% within 3 to 4 days. So how do we go about doing that? Well, let's take a look at the 1 day. Okay, So on the 1 day, the price right now on the 1 day is very high. So this stock, that means that this stock went all the way down today to 1051. Okay, 30 cents lower. So 1031 is the low of the day. So you could have bought this stock at 1031. Now my target price that I am looking for is between $9 and $10. That's where I'm looking for. Okay, so if we analyze what we want to try to do, is we want to be able to get this stock where we can sell it. Let's take a look at what we think we can do. Let's look at a 1 month chart. Okay, so look at this 1 month chart. We're at $10.80. So if we can sell this stock, let's take a look at 12/31. This happened on April 2nd. Okay, and then look at this. This sucker just tanked. 2 days later, it just tanked all the way down to 957, and then over here it went 950. So 950 was the low of the month, of the last month, $9.50, which is within the target range that I'm looking for. I'm looking between $9 and $10. Now, would I be okay buying it at like 1070? Yes, it's just going to take me longer to hit my goal. If I can get this thing to come down a little more, I'd feel more comfortable, because I don't want to try to have to sell it at these high marks up here. 1372. It hit 1372 within 1 month. Let's see what it did within 6 months. Okay, let's look at some of the high ones. $15.50. 14. 13. All right. So it did last month. It did hit the prices that we want within the last two months. 12. I think it's realistic to get like 1250. I think it's realistic. Now, the lower you get it, then you only need to look for $11.50. It makes it easier for you to flip, because I can tell you right now, there is no ifs or buts about it that this stock is going to 1150. There's no ifs or buts about it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we got to analyze, how do we make our money and how much do we really need to invest on this. Before we do, let's take a look at the balance sheet. Okay, let's take a quick look at the balance sheet of this company, okay? It's not very impressive, to be honest with you. The balance sheet, they've got $2.83 billion, and they're in debt 49%. So 50% of it's debt. So not the greatest balance sheet, not the worst, but not the greatest. But it doesn't mean that we're not going to get our little $2 or $1.50 per share. So let's go ahead and bust out the calculator here. Let's bust out our calculator, and let's analyze. So let's base it on, let's say that we get the stock for $10.30. Okay, let's analyze it based on $10.30. All right, so let's say, now I'm going to analyze it for some of you out there that don't have as much money to invest. So I'll give you an example how difficult it is if you've only got $3,000. Okay, so let's say you invest $3,000. So you're going to just take the dollar amount that you're investing, divide it by the price of the stock that you pay. So I'll say, here, let's do 1030, okay? So you're able to get the stock at 1030. And then you're going to own 291 shares. Okay, so now we know how many shares you have. So one day, you go to sell it, and you pay 1030, and you sell it for $11.50, and you paid 1030. Okay, and you make $1.20 per share. And what did you own? 200 and I don't know, what was it, like 290? 291 shares or something like that, you make $350. Okay. So that's realistic for you. Okay. Now, that's 10%. That is 10% of your money. So the question is how long will it take for it to get, if you buy it for $10.30, how long does it take to get to where you make a dollar 20 or $1.30 per share? Okay, well, think about it. 6 months here is only 7%. Well, you made 10%. So the question is how long will that take? It probably only will take maybe between 30 days for you to do it. It could be quicker. Could be 2 days. Could be 1 day. Could be a month. It's very hard to say. Now let's use the same example for somebody who has $30,000 to buy. Okay, so you're going to divide it by $10.30 because that's what you're paying. So you're going to have $29.12. So you take $29.12 in the same example, and you times that by $1.20 per share that you earn, you get $34.94, which is the same thing. It's basically 30%, or 10%, 10% of your money, around 11%, 12%, somewhere around there. So you can see what I mean is that we're looking for investments where we feel confident to put our money. If it goes down, we're not going to take the loss. The problem is it ties up the money. And if that's the only money that you have, you're forced to stay in the stock. But we have to pick stocks that we're okay with doing that. We have to pick stocks where we have these low lines, these low opportunities, where we don't really expect this to go all the way down to $7. But even if it did, it would not be the end of the world, okay? Because it's proof right here, bear with me, right there is $7, okay? So if worst comes to worst, you go down to $7, and then let's analyze how long it took to rebound back to the 10, okay? So we go from here. So this is basically the end. This is in May of 2023. It took a while to get back up to 10. It took over a year. 1 year and 4 months. So it really had a struggle between 2023 to 2024, towards the end of the year. 2023 was a horrible, for 2 years, from March of 2022 to August or October of 2024. So it had a 2-year struggle. Now, I don't know why. I haven't researched that. I can't tell you why, because I have not researched that. But it seems that it's a pretty strong price right here. I don't see the stock going back down for 2 years like this, because it's really paid its dues and it's growing. I just don't see that happening. Could it happen? Anything's possible. But I would feel confident with this stock. I would feel confident. So how do you protect yourself where you don't get into this situation where you're stuck down here with your money? Then you either say, well, I'll tell you what, my target price is $9. If it hits $9, great. If it doesn't, I'm not buying it. I'll look at something else. That's totally fine if you want to do that. That's more conservative, a lot more conservative. That's totally fine. So, a lot of the stocks you can always treat that way. The more strict you are, you're going to be more protected. But at the same time, you do miss out on a lot of opportunities. So, but anyway, it's something I'm interested in doing. I have my eye on it. We'll see if it has more negative days with the market being down. And you guys can decide what you want to do. Okay? Thanks for watching, guys. Give me a like. please. It helps the channel. This is a new channel. If you like the content, subscribe. I'm going to give you tons of stocks that I feel confident that are on the list. We're going to continue to monitor them together. And you're always going to know on this channel when I make a move to buy. Okay, I'm no different than you guys. I'm analyzing. I'm always looking. I'm watching. I'm looking into the whole AMD thing right now in NVIDIA. I'm focused on understanding what's going on with the chips being blocked from China. They've got, that's why they took a hit today, but I'll do a video on that as well, and I'll let you know when I'm investing in AMD. I've already been successful with AMD and NVIDIA. I've already bought them, and I've already flipped them. I am not in those stocks right now. I've already sold them. I made my profit, and I'm looking to make another move when the time is right. But I have other stocks that I'm making moves on, and you guys will be the first one to know. Okay, guys, thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next one.